The Invisible Revolution: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Rewriting America's Business Playbook. Thank you all for being here today. I'm truly honored to stand before you to share some extraordinary insights that have fundamentally changed how I understand entrepreneurship in America. These revelations came through my recent deep dive with Amber Clark, a visionary researcher, advocate, and documentarian whose work has illuminated what might be the most significant untold story in American business. Amber isn't just studying economic trends, she's capturing a revolution in real time. Her meticulous research has given voice to entrepreneurs who have been systematically overlooked, underestimated, and underfunded. Through her work, she's not only changing narratives, but transforming lives and reshaping our economic landscape in ways that will reverberate for generations. What I'm about to share with you today might challenge everything you think you know about who's driving innovation in our economy. It's a story that rarely makes headlines, yet it's rewriting the very foundation of American business from the ground up. Let me start with something that stunned me during my conversation with Amber. Black women owned businesses aren't just growing, they're actually outpacing virtually every other demographic group in both revenue growth and new business creation. Between 2019 and 2023, women owned businesses overall grew at nearly double the rate of men's firms. But here's the revelation: Black women have been the primary architects of this growth, representing an astonishing 89% of net new women owned firms created daily. Let that sink in for a moment. 89%. The narrative we've been told for decades is that Black women entrepreneurs are struggling to catch up, fighting for a seat at the table. But the data reveals a profoundly different reality. They aren't just at the table, they're building entirely new tables and inviting others to join them. This isn't just a statistical anomaly, it represents a fundamental shift in how business creation happens in America. And it challenges us to reconsider our most basic assumptions about who leads innovation and economic growth. Now, I want to be crystal clear about something. This growth hasn't happened because the playing field suddenly leveled itself. Far from it, the obstacles facing Black women entrepreneurs remain substantial and deeply systemic. Despite owning 35% of all U.S. employer firms, Black and other women founders still face significantly higher loan denial rates compared to their male counterparts. Think about that contradiction for a moment. The demographic driving some of the most impressive growth in our economy is simultaneously the one facing the most significant barriers to capital. That's not just unfair, it defies economic logic and represents a massive failure of our financial systems. But here's where the story becomes truly remarkable. Despite these barriers, or perhaps because of them, Black women entrepreneurs have pioneered new approaches to business building that are proving extraordinarily effective in the 21st century economy. Amber shared with me three key insights that help explain this phenomenon. First, Black women entrepreneurs aren't just breaking barriers individually, they are building new ecosystems for collective success. Rather than adopting the lone wolf mentality that characterized previous generations of entrepreneurs, they're creating networks, mentorship opportunities, and funding pathways designed to lift others as they climb. Second, despite facing uneven access to capital, these entrepreneurs have developed innovative approaches to funding and growth that often prove more sustainable in the long run. And third, the growth of digital tools and global platforms has empowered more Black women to launch scalable businesses across diverse sectors from technology to wellness, demonstrating extraordinary resilience and creativity, even in traditionally underrepresented spaces. Let me bring this to life with some powerful examples from Amber's research. Last year, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council Conference in New Orleans brought together thousands of women business leaders, with Black women entrepreneurs prominently represented. This gathering wasn't just another networking event, it symbolized a profound shift in how business communities form and operate. Amber described how these entrepreneurs, after years of navigating an uneven financial landscape, transformed the conference from a simple networking opportunity into a platform for collective advocacy. They weren't just exchanging business cards, they were demanding systemic change in lending practices and investment patterns. The results speak volumes. Average revenues among Black women owned businesses rose by over 32% following these coordinated efforts. Even more impressively, employment at these firms expanded by more than 250% between 2019 and 2023. That's not just business growth, that's community transformation. What's particularly significant about this example is how it shifts the focus from individual achievement toward ecosystem building. These entrepreneurs recognize that sustainable success requires changing the system itself, not just finding ways to succeed despite it. This model of collective advancement is now being emulated nationally, creating ripple effects far beyond the original participants. Another powerful example Amber shared comes from the global stage, the upgrade. Her initiative awarded $9,500 grants to women led ventures across fintech, agritech, climate tech, and femtech sectors, with a particular focus on entrepreneurs from Africa and other underrepresented regions. What made this program revolutionary wasn't just the funding itself, but its structure. The equity free grants were paired with virtual pitch sessions that enabled global exposure without diluting ownership, a critical consideration for entrepreneurs from marginalized communities who have historically seen their equity positions diminished through traditional funding mechanisms. The response was overwhelming. Nearly 2,000 applications reflected the enormous pent up demand for this type of support. The four winning teams were able to scale their operations internationally while maintaining full equity control, a rare achievement in venture backed space dominated by traditional gatekeepers. Perhaps most exciting is how digital platforms are democratizing entrepreneurship for diverse founders. Amber's research highlights how social media commerce tools have enabled more diverse teams, particularly those led by Black professional women, to launch startups efficiently despite historical obstacles like limited venture capital backing or exclusionary professional networks. These entrepreneurs are leveraging e commerce platforms alongside Instagram and TikTok marketing to build brands rapidly without prohibitive upfront costs. They're creating peer driven knowledge sharing communities that foster acceleration rather than competition. The results are remarkable. Female startup activity rates have jumped nearly twofold since the early 2000s. And contrary to outdated stereotypes, many of these diverse led businesses outperform their peers, thanks largely to the innovation boost that comes with diverse leadership. As digital literacy spread following the pandemic and traditional gatekeepers lost influence, a new generation of entrepreneurs has harnessed technology not merely as a tool, but as a catalyst redefining what entrepreneurial leadership looks like today. The impact extends far beyond individual business success. A visible pipeline now exists, inspiring future leaders who see themselves represented in boardrooms and branding campaigns alike, driving sustainable progress across entire sectors. What we're witnessing isn't just a demographic shift in business ownership, it's a fundamental reimagining of what entrepreneurship can and should be. The approach is pioneered by Black women entrepreneurs, emphasizing community wealth, sustainable growth, and collective advancement. Offer valuable lessons for anyone interested in building businesses that create value beyond just financial returns. This brings me to the most provocative question that emerged from my conversation with Amber. What if the future of American business isn't about making the existing system more accessible? What if it's about building entirely new systems based on different values and approaches? The data suggests we'd see more resilient businesses, more distributed wealth creation, and more sustainable growth patterns. We'd see innovation that addresses a wider range of human needs, not just the needs of the most privileged consumers. But achieving this vision requires more than passive admiration. It demands action. It requires dismantling the structural barriers that continue to limit access to capital, networks, and opportunities. It requires rethinking how we evaluate business potential and measure business success. So today, I'm not just asking you to acknowledge this revolution, I'm challenging you to become part of it. If you're an investor, how might you rethink your evaluation criteria to recognize the value in business models that prioritize community impact alongside financial returns? If you're a business leader, how might you restructure your supplier diversity programs to go beyond tokenism and create meaningful partnerships with these innovative entrepreneurs? If you're a policymaker, how might you redesign lending programs and entrepreneurial support systems to address the specific barriers facing Black women entrepreneurs? And if you're an entrepreneur yourself, how might you incorporate some of these community centered approaches into your own business model? The invisible revolution led by Black women entrepreneurs isn't just changing their lives and communities, it offers a blueprint for transforming our entire approach to business and economic development. It challenges us to imagine an economy where success is measured not just by individual wealth accumulation, but by how many others you bring along with you. This isn't just a nice story about diversity and inclusion. This is about the future of American business itself. And the question isn't whether this revolution will continue, it's whether the rest of us will have the wisdom to learn from it, support it, and ultimately join it. The tables are being built, the invitation is open. The only question that remains is, will you take your seat? Thank you